Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody enjoy all the workshops. Can somebody give a round of applause to my workshop people? So, well, we're almost at the end, but we're gonna start our membership meeting. We're gonna rush it out because we have our keynote reading. So I just wanted to first say thank you to all the team that pulled this off. Especially my department, the education department, that had, two men down, but one more to go. But I wanted to say that we're a big family, and all the directors, I just wanted to, if the directors are here, I don't have my glasses off. All my co-directors and directors, they're here. Can you come up? Thank you for sharing the big load of the work. And yeah, thank you for lending me some of your time and some of your staff. So I'm gonna pass it down to Laura. Oh, to Jen, sorry, to Jen. And so Jen is the co-chair of my board and also a co-conspirator in this work. And Jen Salinetti, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. What a joy to be sharing space with all of you throughout the day and now into the evenings. It will be dark when we step out together. I'm just here for a few minutes to go over our impact report, although I will admit I don't know how to do the slides. Laura, how do we do that? Is it this? No, this is... I will just name in advance. Some of you might have noticed that right now, our executive director, Jocelyn Langer, is not here with us today. She recently had her second child, and she is home, hopefully resting and restoring and cuddling with her babes while all of us have been making this come together. So she's been doing a lot of work on the back end, so I'm hoping that she is really resting right now. And
well, if you want to do them from here, but they're not up there.
I know, that's it. Okay. We have these really beautiful slides that I was hoping to be able to share with you, but I will happily just verbally share with you. We've had a really incredible year, and so it just felt nice to be able to summarize a little bit for you what we've been going through here at NOFA Mass. And so I'm going to highlight a few pieces within our departments. We have in education this year, we successfully integrated online attendees and presenters into an in-person event for the first time at our summer conference, at the hybrid NOFA summer conference. You get to bear witness to that this year at this conference as well. Thank you, Dana. Okay, you can move to the next slide. Okay, so there's our education one, and then on to the next one, please. Our food access department, which is now officially a department led by Sister Anna Muhammad. And this year we grew 3,300 pounds of food, specifically in our Springfield community gardens by youth and community partners and leaders throughout the region. Then all of that food was distributed to over 400 families within the community. Thank you. Next slide. In our soil health area, we had 164 soil health assessments that were completed to help increase the health of Massachusetts soil. We also held monthly soil health calls for growers, and we initiated a soil health program in high schools. I think at least 2 high schools this year. So we're looking forward to growing that as well. Next slide. Policy Department, I know Marty's going to be coming up in a few to tell us more details, but I'm proud to announce that we had 17 priority bills passed out of their legislative committee this year from NOFA Mass. Next slide, please. In our areas of equity, we have increased BIPOC representation on our leadership team. And we are now at the point of, on our board of directors, as well as within our staff department directors, of 50%. And we look forward to growing that. And then finally, in development, 100% of the federal grants that NOFA Mass submitted were fully funded, which is now doubling our operating budget for 2023. And over 60 businesses and organizations are supported through these sponsorships throughout the states. We're really proud to share that with you. So as we move into 2023, we're just so inspired by your commitment to our shared vision of healthy landscapes that feed our community, restore our environment, build solidarity, and create joy. Here's to another year of growing stronger together. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for being here for our annual meeting. One of the areas of business that we have to do at the area meeting is elect our board of directors. And so we would like to have our board of directors that are here in person, please join me up at the front of the stage. Richard Robinson, Jan Salonetti, Karen Spiller, John Duke, Viandi Marisma, Priscilla Williams, and myself, Laura Davis. And we have a couple of our board members on Zoom, and I'm not sure if we were able to spotlight them or not, but I will let you know who is there. Betty Anderson Frederick is on the Zoom. Hello, Betty, I saw you earlier up there. Is Doug in the audience? Is Doug up here? Doug Cook? Where'd he go? Thank you very much. And Priscilla Espinosa with us today. So if you'll notice, our board members do a lot of work, especially at conferences. All of our board are volunteer, and we all participate in our committees, from education to strategy to development, fundraising. So everybody works very hard, and I want to just thank you all for all of your commitment for this past year and the big job we have ahead of us. So I would like for the membership to have an opportunity to vote for the board, and I would like to say, just give a shout out and say that you approve the board. So all those in favor of electing this board of directors, please say aye. Okay, any objectors? We put you to work if you object as a board member. Okay, we don't have any abstainers, so welcome. Thank you all to the board for all of your work, and we look forward to being of service. Thank you. Next, I'd like the opportunity to introduce Marty Dagoberto. Marty has really had a magnificent year, as Jen mentioned, about all of the bills that he was able to get through. Not easy to get through things in our state house, but Marty's been very successful in doing that, and all the better for our environment and our health. So thank you so much, Marty.
Well, interesting. I was expecting a podium here. Let me just, oh, this mic works. Hi, everyone. Let me just get my notes here. Come on. Do, 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 do. All right. What's that? Okay, thank you. Sorry, folks. This is not logging in. All right, we got a clicker. Great. Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, friends. As you heard, my name is Marty Dagoberto Driggs, and I am grateful to serve as the Policy Director of NOFA Mass. It's our shared vision for an equitable society, for a healthy society, rooted in living soil, our pursuit of balance with the web of life that gives us our lasting strength. It's our educational events like this conference right here which provide venues for us to enlighten our minds and inspire each other to make positive change in our gardens, our communities, our economy, and our government. So happy 2023. You know, it might just be positive thinking and that might just be exactly what we need right now, but I feel, and I've heard others express, that it feels like something is shifting in a positive way, that we've turned a corner even since the winter solstice, turning towards progress, towards better relationships with each other and the planet. Does anyone else feel that? Does anyone else want to feel that? All right, let's go with that, shall we? Now, I do have real evidence, I feel, to bolster my optimism. So here are some of the signs that the ball is rolling in the right direction, or maybe it's the left direction. But on his final day in office, on January 4th, Governor Baker, who has been considered one of the most progressive governors on climate action in the United States, his office published, and this is breaking news, the long-awaited Healthy Soils Action Plan. Yeah. That's right. We now have a state-approved plan to scale out healthy soils practices, which was crafted by a broad coalition of healthy soils practitioners, experts, and stakeholders. So thank you everyone who was a part of that. And I'm grateful to the Baker administration for establishing our Commonwealth's ambitious and necessary goal of reaching net climate neutrality by 2050. And the healthy soils practices that this plan will help implement will help us to achieve that goal and to adapt to the climate destabilization that we've unfortunately committed ourselves to after decades of inaction. But 2023 is the year we work to create a healthy soils program to support climate smart agriculture solutions across the Commonwealth. And now we have a new governor, and she is a badass. As Attorney General, Maura Healey was a tireless advocate for consumer protection and environmental integrity. And some of my personal highlights include the time she sued ExxonMobil for climate deception, when she sued the EPA for failing to protect children and the public from chlorpyrifos. I finally learned how to say that word. And most recently, when she sued the manufacturers of PFAS for poisoning us with their forever chemicals. Yeah. Oh, and can I get the next slide up there? There was that time in November of 2019 that she joined many of us in that standing room only hearing at the State House to testify in support of our successful campaign to ban consumer use of pollinator-killing neonicotinoids. Anyone see themselves in that picture there? I see Laura in the back there. I see Sister Anna. There's Christy, Jack and Julia there, Ed Stockman in the front, and a bunch of our folks wearing those yellow stickers we made. And then at her gubernatorial inauguration, Maura Healey pledged to 1% of the state budget towards environmental and energy agencies. It's actually a big deal. And the next day, as her first official act, Governor Healey established the cabinet-level position of climate chief. And it just so happens that the first woman to fill this new position, Melissa Hoffer, used to lead our close allies at Conservation Law Foundation and has been a supporter of NOFA Mass. So I, for one, and well, for you NOFA members, am very much looking forward to working with Chief Hoffer and the Healey administration to support our climate action goals, as well as the statutory obligations of our Department of Agriculture per Mass General Law, Chapter 132B, Section 5A, quote, to reduce or eliminate, whenever possible, human or environmental exposures to chemical pesticides. Look it up. On the matter of pesticide reform, I'm also excited to share that in the final hours of the informal legislative session on January 3rd, and thanks to Senator Michael Rodriguez, chair of the Senate Ways and Means Committee, both chambers of the legislature approved two of our top legislative priorities for pesticide reform. Rep. Jim Hawkins' bill to digitize pesticide reporting and Rep. Carmine Gentile's bill to protect school children from pesticides. Now, this was a symbolic victory in that we need to pursue it again in the next session, but we got their stamp of approval and we're able to start this new session with accelerated momentum for these common sense measures. And with this new legislative session underway, we're working with several allies on a few bills to be filed by January 20th. So in the following days, your calls and emails will help lawmakers to decide on which bills to prioritize over the next 2 years. Our newsletter subscribers should receive an email from me in 9 or 10 days outlining the details of our priority bills, which will include a bill by Representative Mindy Dome and Senator Jason Lewis to create a pesticide control modernization and environmental protection task force, and 2 bills by Senator Joe Comerford, a bill to promote ecological mosquito control and a PFAS bill to ensure that the burden of protecting our families and ecosystems from these forever chemicals does not fall on our farmers. And at the federal level, the Farm Bill is up for renewal, and we'll be diving into how we can leverage this monumental legislation toward real change in our food system tomorrow during the policy roundtable at 2 p.m. online. And I'll say progress on the policy front is not possible without the support and collective grassroots action of our members. We'll never match the agrochemical or fossil fuel companies dollar for dollar. We have to beat their political capital with people power. So thank you to all of you who have and will continue to demonstrate to policymakers the sustained power of this community and the promise of the better world we're growing together. And with that, I'm grateful to once again be joined by Dr. Rosemary Malfi, coordinator of the Massachusetts Pollinator Network, who will now share an update about the great work that they've been up to.
All right. I don't usually have to sit down because I'm so short, but I guess I'll do that right now. Thank you, Marty, for that introduction and for that excellent update. Very positive and optimistic as always. And hello, NOFA members. It's an honor to be with all of you today. As Marty mentioned, my name is Rosemary Malfi. In 2021, I joined NOFA Mass as a member of the policy department and as the coordinator of the Massachusetts Pollinator Network, which is our program to unite and support the many individuals and grassroots community groups and organizations that are working to protect pollinator populations across our state. The idea behind this mission is that if we are connected and communicating with one another, we will empower each other to accomplish more together than we ever would if we were doing it alone. It has been a very exciting time for me to witness the growth of our network over these last 2 years, and it's been just as gratifying to see the power of our statewide network mobilized to advocate for policy change. When Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities wrongfully terminated the state's pollinator-friendly solar program last year, we were able to generate a quick and forceful response in the form of hundreds of letters sent to state officials and policymakers in protest of this decision. In the end, our months-long campaign to inform the public and rally our network was successful. With the help of Senator Comerford from Western Massachusetts, we helped to push through a provision in the recently enacted climate bill ordering restoration of this program. But more than this victory, it is fantastic to see that legislators are recognizing our network of pollinator protectors as a vociferous constituency. As Marty mentioned, we're starting a new legislative cycle. In addition to supporting the policy reforms that Marty mentioned, including ecological mosquito control, which obviously affects our pollinators, we will be working with allied organizations like Mothers Out Front and Climate Action Now to rally support for a bill that would restrict pesticide use on school grounds. And we'll be working with Mass Audubon to muster support for a bill introduced by Worcester's own Representative Keefe to create a commission to study how the state can better support pollinator health and conservation. An assessment that is, in my opinion, long overdue, and that would be welcomed not only by grassroots advocates, but also by state officials who have been working to build habitat on state property with very limited resources. In the coming year, we also plan to continue supporting the community advocates and leaders in our networks who are working to adopt ecologically responsible land care policies and practices at the local level. On this last point, I'm very happy to report that at last check, around 30 Massachusetts towns, probably more than that, have passed pollinator-friendly resolutions, committing their municipalities to land care practices that are supportive rather than destructive of pollinator populations. And I can tell you from my work that there are many more in the making. So applause to those towns for doing that. There is renewed urgency around the issue of biodiversity, the biodiversity crisis, and its intersection and interaction with climate change. At the UN in December, a landmark global pact that we should all celebrate, 188 countries agreed to put 30% of the planet and 30% of degraded ecosystems under protection by 2030. Huge, huge deal that they are doing that. Globally, insects are declining, and pollinating insects are especially vulnerable. When we think about it on this global scale, it sounds scary and like maybe it's something that's out of our control. But I can tell you there's reason to be hopeful, and there's research to back that up. The science tells us, for example, that suburban yards with a high proportion of native plants can sustain enough insect life to support stable songbird populations, whereas yards not meeting that high level of native plant composition do not. This demonstrates that literally every yard, every farm, every parcel matters. Everything that you do matters. Collectively, we can change a lot. And I can tell you, I am just, since taking this position, I'm really more hopeful than ever. I am truly amazed and encouraged by the incredible collective knowledge of the participants in our network, and I genuinely feel more hopeful than ever about the prospects for our pollinator neighbors. At NOFA Mass, we are very excited to be providing a central forum where folks from across the Commonwealth can empower each other to take meaningful action to protect pollinators, insects, and biodiversity at large. And I feel very grateful to be in this position helping folks along. And so thank you to anyone in the audience who is already a part of our network participating, or if you are a pollinator protector in some other way. And if you'd like to get involved and get plugged in, you can visit masspollinator.org to learn more and sign up for our monthly newsletter. Thank you all very much.